Desde siempre, la Guayana Esequiba fue territorio de Venezuela. Y Venezuela sufrió un despojo imperial, colonial. Estos son deudas de los viejos colonialismos, de los viejos imperialismos, del viejo y vetusto y ya extinto imperio británico. Y ese territorio es nuestro. Es de los venezolanos y venezolanas, y lo vamos a reconquistar.
The discovery of oil has revived Venezuela's claims to the so-called Guyanese Essequibo, the territory west of the Essequibo River. This is no less than 2/3 of present-day Guyana. It is not surprising that Guyana has offered good conditions to both the US giant ExxonMobil and the Chinese state corporation in order to get them on its side in this conflict. So everything indicates that Guyana will be able to enjoy unprecedented wealth thanks to the oil discovered by this consortium. Now the question is, how much potential money are we talking about exactly? Well, let's take a look.
Giant.
It seems, VisualPolitik viewers, that the oil reserves discovered are so large that they promise to provide Guyana with, now hold on to your chair, approximately $160 billion, with a B, over the next 20 years. Check it out. It will undoubtedly be a massive change for a country where more than 40% of its 800,000 inhabitants live in abject poverty on less than $5.50 a day. And we're not talking about a distant dream. In 2022 alone, government revenues from hydrocarbon exploitation will exceed $1 billion US. That's about $1,250 US per capita, almost 90% of the government's ordinary income in the preceding years. Guyana will now be able to realize its goals and become a modern and prosperous country. For example, one of the dreams is to take advantage of its rivers to build a hydroelectric power plant that will provide the nation with clean and stable energy. The ideal location has been identified since 1976, and since 1997, the government of Guyana has had plans to build it. However, throughout all the intervening years, there was one thing missing: the $840 million it will cost to build the Amelia Falls project, or someone interested in putting up all of the dough in exchange for its exploitation. But now, in theory at least, that problem is about to disappear. Guyana will be able to finance it, and in addition, its newly buoyant and growing economy will create demand for the energy that would make the operation profitable. Curiously, however, the Chinese company that was awarded the project has just pulled out. This will delay commissioning beyond 2027. It's quite a setback for Guyana, but President Ali maintains that they are not giving up on the project. Take a look.
The independent review by Norway has pointed to this project as being good for Guyana, being good for the environment, and bringing greater prosperity. So this project will get on the way.
It is precisely because of all the reasons that Ali has just pointed out that what is puzzling is that this project is not going to be undertaken immediately, even if it is through the state electricity company. But I suppose it will be a matter of budgetary prudence. If that is the reasoning, then it is not so bad. In any case, a 227-kilometer gas pipeline to the coast and a natural gas combined cycle plant in the vicinity of Georgetown are already under construction. ExxonMobil itself will be in charge of this, which will subtract the cost from the profits accruing to Guyana. However, what there is also money for, as always, when the Indo-Guyanese govern, is always the same: a real black hole. Since coming to power in August 2020, Irfan Ali's government has made several capital injections into the state-owned Guyana Sugar Company, which is having trouble even paying salaries. It is even working to reopen loss-making plants simply because they are employment niches for Indo-Guyanese. In the last 2 years alone, public aid granted to Guyana has amounted to approximately 30 billion Guyanese dollars, or about $140 million. Of course, with all the flood of money expected, these seem like nothing more than crumbs. In any case, Guyana is going to change a lot over the next few years. Roads, ports, schools, hospitals. Guyana has become the fastest growing economy in the world. We're talking about 44% in 2020 and 20% in 2021. By 2022, the governments expect 48% growth. And even if we take oil out of the equation, growth almost reaches 8%. Things are going better than ever at all levels.
Government partners with Mount Sinai, Hess Corp, to transform Guyana's healthcare.
Hess Corporation, one of Guyana's 3 oil companies, is a major donor to New York's Mount Sinai Hospital, one of the most prestigious in the world, and has been influential in getting the organization involved in modernizing Guyana's healthcare system. Other positive news coming from the consortium is the driving effect that its activity has on Guyana's industry. It is true that it could be greater because there are areas that local companies are currently unable to reach, as the country has so far lacked heavy industry. But there is something. Take a look.
Guyanese suppliers profit from ExxonMobil's $540 million expenditure.
So $540 million may not seem much considering ExxonMobil's total spending on this project, but it is not bad relative to Guyana's GDP in 2021, which was $6.5 billion. What's more, ExxonMobil's success in Guyana leaves the country in a better position to negotiate more beneficial terms with future investors, because no one doubts the potential of Guyana's oil fields anymore. However, the country's ability to attract investment will depend on its ability to offer legal certainty, and that requires political stability. If they succeed, Guyana could become something like the Monaco of Latin America. But now, the question is over to you. What future do you foresee for Guyana? What do you think it should do with the oil money? You can leave me your answers in the comments. And as always, if you found the video interesting, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to VisualPolitik. All the best, I'll see you next time.